Okay, guys, so we are talking about some recent developments with the KyoAni fire, and I want to mention a few things before we get into some of the new stuff. So we are not mentioning the name of the arsonist. I don't believe the media in Japan has, but either way, we're not doing that. I can't talk about things from a Japanese media perspective, but just looking at things from a US media perspective, while I believe, and this is mostly mainstream, I think things have gotten better with some of these horrible people who've committed these crimes who want this kind of fame. I think the media's gotten better and they haven't really reported on their names, but still, I I'm just not interested in giving this guy any more press than necessary. I don't care who he is. In some respects, of course, you care about why he did it because you want to see if you could prevent something like this in the future, maybe through mental health things like that. Again, mental health treatment. I can't talk about it from the Japanese side of things. I'm a U.S. citizen, but what I can say is, and I think we all agree, this guy is an asshole. So let us talk about some of the new developments, though. So, apparently, police have identified all 34 victims who died in the Kyoto animation fire. They have yet to release their names. Now, I'm not going to release them here either. If you find them on Twitter, so be it. If you find them online, so be it. The families are not interested in this. A bit of a, I would argue it's a bit of a cultural difference. I would argue maybe perhaps in the U.S. they would be looked at as, as heroes perhaps, and you'd want their names out there in the media. But again, that really depends on family to family. I don't want to get into cultural stuff like that right now, but we do know that the families have come out and said, please, this is when during speculation time, please don't, talk about either my husband or my son's or my daughter's name online. So I'm not going to be doing that here. I know some families have, I believe, come out at this time. So you can find that on Twitter, but don't want to do any of that here. I just wanted to reveal that yes, all 34 they've been found out. Again, not named, but the police do plan to reveal the names soon. So I assume once they contact the families and all of that is discussed with them, we will learn info about that. If you guys haven't been following the news, basically to break it down for you guys, there was an arsonist who lit the Kyoto Animation building, the first studio's building, on fire. And they had left the door open, which might seem odd to someone living in the U.S. who is very, I guess, security based. You look at everything now. Everything's a cue card. Everything's a key card. Everything is, a pat down or something like that. Not every single thing, of course, but still, depending on on either a school that you're going to, there might be a metal detector. If you're going into if you're going into an airport, obviously, you have to take off your shoes, everything like that. So I can understand why some people would be confused. However, they were expecting guests, and also fires like this are not common in Japan. There is crime in Japan, of course, but the size of Japan and crime rates and all this stuff varies a lot differently than it does in the US, so especially with how large the US is. So I just wanted to put that out there because there's a lot of talk online. Some people are very confused about why a door would be open, how someone can get in, how they could, set this fire and all of that stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. And apparently with this, sorry, it's a little hard to talk about this. Some of the people who were trying to escape and trying to get out, they sadly were unable to because they were on I believe, the second and third floor. They tried to go to the roof, and the roof is actually chained off. Now, again, if some people are confused about that, the one thing that is very high in Japan is suicide rates. So I am under the impression, and again, pure speculation, that perhaps due to the long work hours, some of the owners of the animation company were concerned about the fact that people could commit suicide on the roof. That is something that does happen. I don't have the stats in front of me to confirm, but I mean, we if you're in the U.S., you do know about something called suicide forest, is what's referred to as in the U.S. There's another name in Japanese, I believe, but still, so you know about this, and if you don't, well, you do now. But because of that and this culture around, a lot of overworking and potentially having that lead to suicide, I understand what the initial thought may have been if that was the reason why it was chained off. However, because of that, they could not get to the roof, and I would imagine that ended up adding to the loss of life. I know that some people also died in the hospital as well, so it's not as if, thankfully, and this is a silver lining in a sense, not everyone in the building has passed. But still, this is a huge loss of life in Japan, one of the biggest loss of lives through fire, I believe, in the last 40 years. I've been hearing as well. Actually, well, I'm sorry, compared to fires in a commercial building, this comparing it to 44 people killed in 2001. However, arson was suspected, but they never caught anyone. And and they are saying in general, though, this incident is the worst mass murder in Japan post World War II history. If you are wondering what you can do to help out Kyoto Animation, I would like to note that there are that Sentai Filmworks, Crunchyroll, and Animate retail chain, the city of Uji, and others are collecting donations or messages of support for the company and their and the victims. I will be posting those in the chat down below, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, they will be in the description box. There is a GoFundMe as well. I believe that is actually made by Sentai Filmworks. I don't know how that is going to work because there will be a huge tax because Sentai Filmworks is a US company and them giving it to Kyoto Animation, a corporation. There might be a lot of taxes involved there. So some people have been actually buying wallpaper directly from Kyoto Animation's website. So in doing that, trying to give back to them. And in no way am I saying that people should not do that, but I definitely am also interested in seeing what we could do as a community to give back to the families. Because of course you would imagine, again, speculation, that Kyoto Animation has insurance. So not that they're covered necessarily, because this is not only a loss to life as well, and I didn't want to get into this heavily because I don't think this matters compared to the loss of life, the loss of a lot of the work that they were currently working on and a lot of animation that they've had stored there in the past. So because of all that, this is going to hurt them as a company a lot, yes, but personally I'm looking at this more from how the families can recover from such a loss, and really anyone who has survived, how they could recover if this was obviously not if this was their primary source of income, and even if they're fine, their hands are just fine, how they could mentally recover from something like this. So I'm wondering where things are going to go from here, not necessarily with the company, but again, how we can help these people, and hopefully, and I'm not trying to get involved in the Japanese side of things here. Again, I'm just a US citizen, but if there was anything that could have been prevented, if it can be prevented in the future, and these safeguards can be in place, but without the citizens living in fear, because that also is the last thing you want as well. You want a healthy dose of skepticism, but not outright fear. And hopefully this guy, I'm calling him human, I guess, is a stretch, but this person gets the help that he needs, and gets what is coming to him. And if both of them are the same thing, so be it. Because I honestly don't know what to say about him personally. We don't know his motives as of yet. I don't believe his motives have been discussed, but I'm very happy, and I might not sound happy, but I am very happy that he has been caught. Because again, suspected arson in 2001, and that person is still out there to this day. So thankfully he has been caught, and he is in police custody. And I have to say, I am happy how people have come together, and we've come together as a community to not only help KyoAni, Kyoto Animation, but we've also there's been a few people, I will admit, that have been a little frustrating, to say the least. But I do believe that, from what I've seen, most of us have come together and have really seen what we can do to help. And I think that's what matters most of all. It's just people coming together in people's times of need, trying to see what we can do to help. So again, we'll be posting ways to donate to KyoAni down in the Twitch chat, or if you're watching this, it's probably already in the on our YouTube channel. It's already in the description box.